Arcane Sorcerer. L'Arcano Incantatore. L'Arcano Incantatore. Willow, what can you tell me about Pupi Avati?
He's a nice guy.
Pupi Avati.
He's a nice guy.
How is he? A nice guy. Is he?
How is he? I don't know.
Is he a nice guy?
I haven't spoken to him recently.
How do you know he's a nice guy?
I don't know. You said
I mentioned it to you. Pupi Avati. Today we were watching. I'm Phil.
And I'm Willow.
And it's Del Toro time. It's Del Toro time, and we are back with the Ecstasy of Influence. This week's movie is 1995's 1996's
The Arcane Sorcerer.
L'Arcano Incantatore, an Italian film by Pupi Giuseppe Avati, who does go by the nickname Pupi. He's an 80-some-year-old man. He is still alive. He is still making movies. He makes like a movie a year.
Good.
And this is one of his not as well-known movies. His two most famous films are The House of the Laughing Windows and Sorcerer, both of which I've seen.
Yes.
Very good movies. But those
can't remember which one is which, though.
We can't remember which one is which. One of them's about one thing, one of them's about the other. But those movies are both from the late 70s, very early 80s, that era of Italian horror and filmmaking. And so this movie's from the mid-90s. He's done many movies in between those and this. This was, I believe, his return to the genre, horror. And it's impossible to find, this movie.
It is.
It is very much impossible. In fact, I had to buy, in order to watch it, I had to buy the Italian DVD, which is the only DVD of it in existence. It's an Italian DVD. It's not in high def or anything. It doesn't even have English subtitles, so I had to download English subtitles online for us to watch this movie. So the work I put in to watch this.
Was it House of the Beehive?
Spirit of the Beehive? Yes.
It's like that one.
Except Spirit of the Beehive, I believe I just ended up buying the Criterion edition. And this, I had to order this from Italy. I had to go on Italian Amazon. And do you know what happens when you go on Italian Amazon? You get put on a list.
The Italian list.
See right there. Pupi.
Am I really quiet?
Avati. You're really quiet in real life.
I mean, yeah, but like on the microphone, like in a detrimental
Willow on the
way.
microphone.
Am I quiet?
Yes. But, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
So are you ready to watch The Arcane Sorcerer, L'Arcano Incantatore?
It's actually, what was it? The Arcane Enchanter?
The Arcane... Oh, yeah, you'll find this movie listed in English in many different ways. Arcane Sorcerer, The Arcane Enchanter, The Mysterious Enchanter.
We switched spots.
We did switch spots, so my head looks much bigger than yours.
It always does.
My head is always much bigger than yours. But are you ready to go see this movie? Go to
see this movie?
Here
Where
we go. We'll go into the theater. Doesn't work on audio, but works on video.
Most of our bits don't work
at all. We're not amusing people. We're not entertaining or funny. We have no good insights. We'll talk about why Guillermo del Toro likes this movie, though, when we get back to you.
We're not leaving.
Right after these messages.
We're not sponsored either.
Do you have trouble Pupi Avati? I don't know. I promised I wouldn't make fun of his name. In any case, here we go.
Here we go.
The Arcane Sorcerer. See? L'Arcano Incantatore.
An esoteric fable from our countryside. Which countryside? I assume the Italian countryside.
Look at all these Italians. Beautiful people.
Jesus.
That's not Jesus, it's just a man.
No,
oh,
Jesus.
I see.
No, Jesus is up there.
Same. I know that guy.
His name's Jesus. That's
same.
There better not be worms in this movie.
There's gonna be so many worms.
I'll leave.
No, you're not gonna leave because you can't get out. I'm in the way.
That's true. So he threw up worms, so he doesn't have magic in him anymore?
This guy threw up worms?
No, the guy that they're talking about.
Oh. I should probably pay more attention to the movie. Look, this movie's really good.
Pig!
That's a heck of a pig.
Is he the pig? Is the pig the one who was throwing up worms? I think we missed.
I'm gonna say right now, the sound design on this is freaking me out because I keep thinking I'm hearing farm animals outside.
This is a pretty bad place.
What, because there's just hags around?
No, the hags are fine. Gotta love hags. It's the wooden barred door that's the problem.
I don't have to love hags. I don't have to love anything.
I didn't say you had to. I said I love hags.
You said gotta love hags.
Oh, well, you gotta. It's the rule now.
You don't have to love hags, but you gotta love hags.
We're a pro-hag podcast.
Heck yeah. Oh,
He's a therapist.
is this a flashback movie?
Is this a Frankenstein?
Is this a Frankenstein?
I guess if you're gonna
I mean,
impregnate a woman and then force her to get an abortion, the evil one is kind of already at your door, huh?
I was gonna say, I guess if you've been kicked out of seminary, you may as well turn to the devil.
I mean, yeah. Gotta love hags.
Gotta love hags.
Why does it sound like she's wearing a voice modulator?
It's just Italian.
Repudiated him. That's a good word. Catholicism.
No, I was gonna say, oh yeah, fun. Who doesn't have their mother's cord of thorns?
So this is the guy's descent into becoming a warlock, yes?
Some sort of arcane sorcerer, perhaps?
Yeah.
It always starts with your mother's cord of thorns.
Level 1 warlock.
Yes. Oh, is this where we find out he's the Quetzalcoatl?
The what?
It's a Dune reference.
Ah. Hand stuff! It's a Del Toroism! I guess Catholicism... I mean, in the stories, the demons always prey on, like, the burden of shame that Catholicism forces upon the people. I'm sorry if I'm offending any Catholics. The burden of shame that Catholic people carry.
You say this as someone whose uncle, great uncle, and great aunt were a priest and a nun.
She is still a nun. She's still alive.
Oh, that's right.
I got a card from her. I love Catholicism. I think it's very interesting.
Oh, we have a name. I guess I hadn't been sure when this was taking place.
Now I'm sure.
Until now.
Yeah.
It's like it could be a long time ago, or it could just be Italy.
This is definitely...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should wear a thing like that.
No.
Look good on you.
No.
Lace right up around the jaw.
La ragione di tutte queste carte e di tutte queste penne?
To write?
C'è sul salvacondotto, devo raggiungere il notaio per il quale lavoro nel Granducato.
Non aveva ancora preso i voti?
Quello di
So he's
Castità,
fleeing.
ma di sicuro.
Yeah.
State pur certi che quel prurito lì glielo faremo passare per sempre. Abbiamo certi metodi efficacissimi.
Modo di bagno. Curato permette.
Certo che permetto.
Vuole ancora? Sono buono.
This is the worst carriage ride. I agree with that girl.
Yeah. Dour face, much earned. What's interesting is that, because Catholicism is so close to just magic at times, spells and incantations, ancient rites, like it's its own type
Quei
of
segnali misteriosi che
arcane
parlano
magic,
Yeah.
that it just works so well in this.
That's why I like the Nun movies so much. Because it's just a superhero movie.
Yeah. Like none other.
Exactly. He has a nice wig.
We should bring wigs back.
No. We have a lot of people wear wigs.
I mean, just in general.
Look, if you're gonna sell your soul to the devil and the only reason you're doing that is so you can, like, victimize women, that sucks. Sell your soul to the devil so you can do awesome stuff.
Yeah, but I think that, like, the devil only tends to, like, make bargains with people who, like...
The devil is missing out on an incredible market. I'd rather not be any explicit scenes in this.
Any explicit scenes of what?
Like sex.
Look, I watched his giallo and his horror movie, and there was not even any nudity in those
Alright,
two
good.
films.
I'll take it then. Is he gonna be like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast?
I hope so. I hope he's exactly the Beast.
Yeah.
And I hope the movie ends with him flying away into the sky.
Is this just gay Beauty and the Beast? Are those fake books or real books?
I believe that they are probably fake books intended to be real books.
Okay. It's pretty awesome to have all of your books just everywhere in your house.
Yeah.
Especially old arcane tomes and grimoires.
Especially all those fake books.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
just
can
a
tell
bunch.
that some of them are the same set piece painted slightly differently.
Right. It's just a bunch of safes.
Yeah. Having open flames in here seems like a terrible idea.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of tomes.
Reminds me of a video game.
Yeah, that's just carved wood.
Mm-hmm.
That's just carved wood.
It's
Those
like-
aren't books.
It's like, I hope we get to see a scene where there's a bookshelf and there's just one actual book, and it's like out of Scooby-Doo.
I was just going to say, like in a
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo episode, it's like,
Yep.
oh, there's the one that's going to move.
Yep.
I hope there's a scene where he's trying to pull a book off the shelf and it's just like all wood. It's like, oh my god.
I'd rather go live with a terrifying man in the countryside than face the shame of what I've done. Okay, bro.
He's gonna learn magic.
I guess technically, given the situation, he was probably gonna be like tortured. So
Yeah, they
I'd
said we
also
have
flee,
ways
yeah.
of making you lose your desire to have sex, so
Yeah, I would also flee.
yeah. If the Catholic Church is coming after me, you better believe I'm running.
Look, it's a hand. Excuse
Well.
me?
Is he
Vieni che cerchiamo il cadavere.
huh?
Is he like the man who can? Is he able to take himself apart and then put himself back together?
Yeah, is he a modulok? Oh, I don't know what's happening.
That's the corpse of the guy
Oh,
who was
okay.
replacing-
I thought that was the guy.
No.
I was like, what's wrong with him?
Ew. What happens if you touch him?
You get gross on you?
He looks like a normal guy.
Yeah.
What's wrong with him?
He's missing a hand, I guess. Doesn't like people to see not his hand.
Wasn't it like if anybody sees him, they get excommunicated or something?
Mm-hmm.
Except for this guy.
Right, because he's his new secretary.
Yeah. Honestly, if I lived in this time period, I'd also live by myself in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere and be an enemy of the church.
Credo che uno come lui la gradisca tanto.
I don't care what he'd appreciate. He victimized women. He could deal with Jesus watching over his corpse.
Let's air this place out a little bit.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of dusty old tomes.
A lot of the same dusty old tomes. I love it, don't get me wrong.
No, it's good
beautiful.
set dressing. But they are clearly
Yeah.
pieces of wood. Oh, so many birds in here.
I like that they're birds and not bats. Oh.
This is the staircase from the House on Haunted Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Haunting of Hill House, sorry.
Every time.
Every time.
Here, you can sleep in the room that the dead guy lived in. All of his stuff is still in here.
Hey, free stuff.
That doesn't seem like it will be loud enough to wake anybody up.
Well, you probably won't ring him when he's asleep.
This guy? You think this guy keeps normal hours?
Ha un pipistrello al posto dell'anima.
There's your soul prosthetic. The bat.
Oh, hey, yeah, you're right. If you lose your soul, just get a bat.
If I was the Arcane Sorcerer, I would be like, yeah, sorry it takes you 20 minutes to get down to me. I couldn't design a better staircase. Just get a ladder at that point, it'd be faster.
Yeah, or a little elevator. Or just move your bed downstairs.
Yeah.
Ho impiegato.
He sets it in the candles on it.
I burn them when I'm done with them.
I wonder how many times he accidentally set that prop on fire while filming this.
Origine della vita. Tagliola per farina millesimo.
Yee.
Ma quella matta di mia madre.
Wasn't the hand that was in the thing a fully grown man's hand, though?
I don't know.
He's like, damn, my new secretary does not say much.
Nope. He's like, God, I hired this guy because I wanted somebody to talk to.
The candles are significantly taller than they were in the last scene.
Yeah. Hey, magic candles, arcane sorcery. You may notice that your candles never go out. That's the one little free one that I give to you. So why can't anyone see this guy?
Well, because initially it was because he was forced into solitude by the church. So they'd get excommunicated. Because of, like, whatever he was doing previously. To get him.
Oh, so you get excommunicated if you see him Not because of something he wants,
Yeah.
but the church has decreed.
Yeah.
Okay, I was confused.
And also, probably just, like, if you see him, your soul's already got a black mark against it.
I thought it was gonna... Oh, we missed the Scooby-Doo spine.
Oh, there go the candles again.
Benvenuto in questo.
Okay, I have to admit, wasn't expecting the creepy child giggles. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a movie about a guy doing evil spells and
Learning
just really
magic.
Slow burn. Nope, immediate creepy ghost child.
What if it's just a kid? What if he's like, oh, my daughter's also here?
That would be weird.
Yeah. Oh, I have a granddaughter. She's upstairs. She's fine.
Oh, yeah, that's the same thing that the girl was saying. With the hag. The warlock patron, I guess?
Yeah.
He's already being a weird little creep.
Oh,
Ghosts.
goats. Oh, I thought he was going to be looking at the...
Yeah.
Ah,
Ghosts.
classic move. Because he only has one hand.
I'm sure in the, 40, 50 years of this... how old is this guy? He's been alive, he could find...
It's not a very big book. It's a tough book. You know those
He
little
could
books?
find
They don't
something-
open well.
He could find something to hold it with, is what I'm saying. Like a stand or something.
I don't know. I think he probably doesn't come down to this table that often.
But if this is the book he always uses to code things, then
He does it in his head.
why does he need a secretary?
47.
Jeez Louise.
Stanotte da una stanza della soffitta ho sentito una ragazza cantare.
No, non possono essere loro. Loro sono scomparse da molti anni.
What if they were ghosts,
Una
though?
volta Nerio, per farmi paura, mi ha raccontato che le aveva accoppate
I
con
don't think he was lying. So, is the Arcane Sorcerer the bad guy, or is Nerio the only bad guy? Is there a bad guy?
Right. I mean, besides the church.
And the evil guy. The evil one. He's probably pretty bad, huh?
Probably pretty bad.
Paese molto lontano. È riuscito ad arrivare fin qui con la forza del suo pensiero. Il
Impressive.
suo spirito.
Oh, there's astral projection. Less impressive. Unless somebody teleports their physical body to me, I'm not buying it. Unless you physically teleport yourself to me, I'm going to believe that if I see you in my head, it's a dream. Is this a Frankenstein? Are they gonna?
I see something being hauled up on a rope. Must be a Frankenstein.
Are they gonna bring this guy back from the dead?
Oh, I see what your thing is. I mean, they brought people back from the dead in one of Avati's other films, so...
And that little girl came back from the dead. And she's a servant of God? Of his mom? Not a servant of God, she went to purgatory.
Insegna il modo
It's true.
di far tornare.
All right,
okay,
hold your
okay.
horses.
Calm down. What?
Lo sapevo.
Huh? Bro, you're really freaking me out.
Why did it make that sound?
Proof of ghosts.
Very nice. He's like, brings out 15 more glasses with little different levels.
Oh,
È lui.
something's doing it without him doing it.
Hell yeah.
Added in post.
Says you, non-believer.
I have a shirt.
Are you daring to call out special effects being used in a movie?
No, I love it.
Whoa.
Wow.
The most special effect.
Stigmata. Wow. That's really rude of that guy to do that with that cup.
Compie opera di poesia. E il
Honestly, props to that ghost for actually doing something
capace di poesia.
magical.
Una delle stanze della soffitta è chiusa dall'interno.
Quindi? Ma perché non sfondi quella porta? Ti autorizzo io stesso.
Oh, ok.
Così ti
Awesome.
liberi da tutti questi sospetti.
Hell yeah.
Per favore, non diventare anche tu come gli altri.
You've really not given him a reason not to be like the others.
Right.
You're summoning angry ghosts.
I don't know.
Forse del tutto
This guy seems okay.
He seems on the level.
Nerio I don't trust. Because we did see the ghost women.
Ha avuto inizio.
You don't get a child involved in arcane sorcery unless you're evil.
I would totally get you involved in arcane sorcery.
I would be thrilled to be involved.
When you were a kid.
Yeah. It's like this is like that scene in the Pixie Hollow books.
Pixie Hollow books?
Mm-hmm. There's a Pixie Hollow book where somebody's sleepwalking and doing things, and so they set up a huge trap of spider webs and bells, and they catch the person.
Who was it?
I think it was Tinkerbell.
Of course it was Tinkerbell.
Or it was Fawn.
Who was the purple one? The evil one or the wicked one?
What is her name?
Validia?
Validia, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Well, they're really going whole hog in
ghost hunting.
Paranormal activity. They sprinkle a little bit of powder on the ground. That worked fine.
It really didn't, though.
They saw the footprints.
That's true. The ghost would have to really, really specifically walk where the powder was, though. At least this here, it's fine. No.
Yes. Bleed him. I wonder what this guy thought he was getting into.
I don't know if he really thought much of anything. He doesn't seem like the type. Jesus.
I mean, it's not real. They're not really cutting the guy.
I know,
it's
but I
special
still don't wanna
effects.
see
It
it.
looks like Sweeney Todd. There's not even a mark on his arm.
Oh, hey, what is that? What is
Whoa.
that?
There's your bat. There's your batty.
Hey,
Not the fakest bat we've
Not
seen.
the fakest bat
Not
we've
the
seen.
fakest bat we've seen.
definitely not the realest bat we've seen,
No,
though.
but we've seen far worse.
And far bigger. Alright, bud.
So he bled the boy, the bat imbibed the blood.
The bat imbibed boy blood.
The bat imbibed the bound boy's blood.
They have a lot of flour to spare.
You make a lot of bread back in the day. There's flour everywhere. Life is flour.
Life is flour. Where's he going?
He's done. He's done for the night.
Oh, is that his staircase? I couldn't see it.
Just typical bedtime routine.
Dude,
That's how you get weevils.
this is... I would...
Or maybe he's just supposed to wait out there.
Get a book or something.
He's got a book. You can't. He's got things to read. If he really wanted to, he just reach up behind him and pull off.
Okay, so from what I'm
Early
getting
night.
from
Oh, wait.
this guy is that he didn't stop believing. He just effed up. He's still a religious boy.
I think in order to do this kind of magic, you have to be a religious.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it works to not believe in anything. Uh-oh. Here comes up. You just talked about Tinkerbell. Well, here it comes.
You have to believe. Clap your hands if you believe.
Clap your hands if you believe. Oh.
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 Hey, bud. No.
No thank you.
Oh, there goes his hand again.
Well,
Christmas lights.
that was Santa. That's what Santa's like in Italy.
Oh, okay.
They call him Papa Flame.
Papa Fire. Well,
I mean,
he was just floating.
Do you need to look for footprints at this point? You saw a fiery dude float out the window.
Maybe it's not just footprints he's looking for.
Butt prints. I need to know if he sat down.
Maybe he's looking for a message written in the dirt or the flour. I wish I could be a ghost.
That can be arranged.
Hey, dude, I just saw like a full body apparition.
Blow on his face.
Blow on his face.
Blow
Rub
on
his
his face.
ankles.
Blow on his face. Blow on his face.
Rub his ankles.
Football practice. Yeah, he gave you 2 things to do. Just do them. Is this how you wake a magician up?
Yeah, you're laying in a bunch of snow, you weirdo.
I'm cold.
You did this to yourself.
Seems like a lot of work to go through just for that.
Look, if this other guy is such a great sorcerer, he can figure out an easier way to do this.
Oh.
Perché questa croce?
It's a T for Tim.
Or it's upside down, and it's for Satan. Or isn't that St. Peter's cross or something?
St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm on your side. Look, if you're going to be a grump like this, after one night of magic, I don't know if you should do magic anymore.
Hey, ghosts, girls.
Okay, now don't look away and just walk toward them.
Yep.
Ah.
We looked away. What are the ghost girls trying to tell him?
Yeah.
Hey, we're ghosts. Here we are.
Portato della roba sporca, ci sono anche delle calze.
Thanks.
Plaga da rattoppare.
So tell me more about this prostitute. Oh, the confessor.
Hey man, what's up? That's a creepy shot.
That's a creepy dude.
Mm-hmm. I'm too awkward for situations like this. I'd be like, hey man, what's up?
I think you'd do exactly what he did. You'd run off.
I'd make eye contact though, is the problem. I'd be like, yep.
Oh.
Lo sai che è il punto più lontano dalla casa che abbia raggiunto in tutti questi anni?
At least this guy's pretty honest and open about like the problems he's having.
Yeah. I like their relationship.
Mm-hmm. It's awkward and weird, but you know,
but hey.
so's every relationship. I love that candle prop.
Yeah.
Everyone has a temperature.
Okay. Okay, pedant.
Don't. Well, now you have to kill the priest, man.
Kill the priest. Kill the priest!
So it's not actually an evil guy that's like making these men do these horrible things. It's just this really sad, like, old man that they're like, well, if something goes wrong, I guess I gotta kill this person so that I don't get taken away. So this sad old man one day to be sadder.
Yeah, you don't want the sad old man to be sad.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing sadder than the sad old man.
Dude, if I was the church and this guy ran away, I would be like, whatever.
Right.
Who cares?
Oh my god.
Set him on fire.
Huh? Well, now I can't see.
Ricordate, il demonio non si fa servitore, se non per essere maestro.
So they're gay.
That's all you care about.
Look, I just call it like I see it.
I expected that guy to be a little more haughty or evil or something, but no,
Yeah,
he's
he's
just
just
like,
like-
okay, look,
Okay, here's the deal.
I don't want you to get all caught up in this, so you need to help us out.
And what's with this woman?
Well, she's got syphilis, but...
But also that song keeps repeating.
Oh.
Sei nuovo di qui. Ho aiutato io a conoscerle quelle.
Okay, lady, stop.
Ma ti piace solo fare domande?
I'd be like, no thanks, lady, you have syphilis.
Oh, well, I'm spent. Perhaps I should not have had sex with a syphilitic prostitute.
She could not read the room. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, with syphilis. Ugh.
Ugh.
Consacrata del cimitero.
Ormai è sufficiente che una qualsiasi cosa mi sfiori per essere considerata diabolica.
Why? I guess it's the politics of the church.
I mean,
something.
yeah. Why does the church do anything? Power.
Power, yeah.
Consolidation of power.
But what was Nerio's deal? Why are there ghosts in the house? Hi. Didn't he get permission to break that door down?
Yeah, kick it down. Blow on his face. Rub his ankles.
I'd have busted that door down the second he told me I was allowed to.
I guess it is a little kid's hand.
I can't tell. Okay, bro, you're writing these real fancy letters. Could you not just
Right,
hurry up?
just write it out. Or just say it, because you were talking a minute ago.
Is it gonna be amore?
Anna.
Anna and
Guillermo del Toro. Anna and...
Oh.
Well, it's not for us to figure out.
Monsignore sta male. Non posso lasciarlo da solo.
But not tonight. My shows are on.
So in this one, the church isn't necessarily the bad guy. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, except for the whole Inquisition thing.
Well, yes, but that's like historically.
These
the bad
specific church people aren't malevolent.
guy. Yeah.
No one has the full story of what's going on.
Può essere pericoloso per voi.
Oh.
Se mi dite cosa cercate, vi aiuto io. Un signore?
Yeah. Yikes!
You don't look good, man. Now you look worse.
Goodbye.
There's your full body apparition for the evening.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exactly 10 o'clock.
Signore.
It's exactly 7 days after he watched that cursed videotape.
Signore, svegliate.
No, it's too dangerous.
I mean, is his friend is dead or dying? So
Or dying, yeah. Not waking up. He's too weak.
yeah. So like, can't really wait much longer. You can't touch him though.
Right, don't touch him.
But that's probably why he ends up getting possessed. And why the thing is the way it is. If I had to guess. Smart man, smart man. You should have gotten rope or something to tie him to that.
Ah, he's in a hurry.
He
I wouldn't want to let that body out of my sight.
I would push it in front of me.
Yeah. He rolls off somewhere down the hill.
I'd be like, oh, nope, not my problem anymore. Honestly, after the first full body apparition, I'd be like, nope, not my problem anymore.
This isn't my deal. This isn't my thing.
Also, he's gotta keep that book somewhere, right?
Right. I thought he was going to keep the book like behind the hand or something, and that's why he looked there, but... Yeah, I can't currently tell exactly where his loyalties lie, but I think it's just he just doesn't want the old man to die.
Yeah. Have a corpse. Bye.
Yeah. No, I told you not to bring it tonight.
POV switch.
Ma non è Nerio. Dio mio, chi è?
He's missing a hand. Oh no! We were hoodwinked.
We were. So was this guy really Nerdio the whole time?
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
We got the plot twist of the century.
Mamma mia.
I thought that was supposed to be a bird at first.
It's hard to tell in this movie. There's a lot of birds.
Dude. I would have gone to the church, pounded on the door, and then not left until they let me in.
Yeah, I would have been like, can I just stay here tonight?
Yeah.
I still don't trust those stairs.
That's why he didn't want anyone to see him.
Yeah.
Because they would have known he was like the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's at the attic?
Mm-hmm. He's gonna find bones in the bed.
Bones in the bed, and the little one said,
These are the two women you murdered.
I'm crowded, roll over. Yeah. Yeah.
Avevi ragione tu. È Nerio
You are
che ha
Nerio.
commesso questi atroci delitti. È persona legata al demonio.
Yeah.
Dude, I would not have gone back.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, I'm good, actually.
Yeah. I thought we were buds.
Siete voi, Nerio. Voi siete il demonio.
Who's that? Oh, is that the priest?
Avete ammazzato quel prete che indagava.
Dude, get up.
He's not doing well.
He has syphilis.
Here's Johnny. Well, that took it out of him. Tinkle-dee-dinkle.
Okay, lady, but who are you, and what was any of this about? Cut off your hand, and you'll be free.
Is that the lesson from the movie?
Yeah.
He's just resting.
Stop.
Oh.
What does that mean?
A twist.
He's gonna look back and it's gonna be a normal hand.
What?
He's gonna look back, it's gonna be a normal hand. Or not. So, was that guy just doing a voice then?
I guess.
Continuare i suoi misfatti. Io
Oh,
sapevo
the bat was his soul,
come
remember?
il Signore Dio riempie di sé tutte le...
I am choosing to believe that that woman was just a guy doing a funny voice.
Yeah.
Which is weird and upsetting. Oh, hey bud. What?
Wow! The Arcane Sorcerer!
What was that ending?
Let's talk all about it.
All
Shall
right.
we?
Yep. I don't feel like I talk that quietly.
No, I mean, I just talk loudly. I'm a loud boy. Speaking of loud boys... The end. Welcome back. We just watched
The Arcane Sorcerer.
The Arcane Sorcerer from 1996.
1996.
1996 is The Arcane Sorcerer by Pupi Avati. First impressions. Boredom.
I really liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the movie, and then the ending happened.
It's a mysterious end. It's an ambiguous ending. An ambiguous beginning, an ambiguous middle.
I don't think it was an ambiguous beginning or middle.
The very beginning, where there's a mysterious, darkened figure crouching in the shadows somewhere.
No, I think that was also pretty straightforward.
It's enigmatic.
Okay,
an
I can go with
enigmatic
that.
beginning, middle, and end. It's a confusing little film at times, especially when you're talking over the subtitles.
I was reading them the whole time.
In brief, young seminary student impregnates a girl.
Forces her to get an abortion.
He's sent away.
No, he's not.
He runs away.
Yes.
He runs away to avoid prosecution by the church,
Mm-hmm.
who have ways of making you never want to have sex again, apparently.
That's just called being Catholic.
This is called being Catholic. I don't know. I know a lot of Catholics who have a lot of sex.
Yeah, but they feel the shame.
They do feel bad about it afterwards. So he ends up being sent to a place where he meets a mysterious woman behind a fresco who takes a little talisman of his mom's and cuts the back of his hand.
It's not a talisman. Let's be really clear about what it is.
It is
it's a band of lace that has thorns sewn into it so that she can punish herself for her sins.
Right.
Still stained with her blood.
Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So he in doing so, he indebts himself to this woman who he never sees and who is mysterious and possibly magic. We don't know, but she's like, you got to go to this place. there's this guy. He's a Monsignor. He was kicked out of the church, even though he's still a Monsignor, for practicing sorcery. You go live with him. No one's allowed to see this guy.
Or they'll get
excommunicated. He lives in a castle, like a little like turret on the top of a hill.
According to him and the guy at the beginning, the guy who brings him to the place.
Yeah. Yeah, the word is you can't look at this guy. If you see him at all, you'll be excommunicated by the church. So, of course, we do find out later on that like there's a lot of rules and stuff around this situation that are maybe not true rules.
Yeah.
Maybe were made up by the people with their own interests in mind. In any case, the guy's an old man. He lives... How many books are in this place?
All of them.
One book. The rest are just wooden...
That's true. Actually, no, there are at least 4 books because we see him bring 3 loose books to the guy.
He's in this... It's a gigantic library. It's pretty cool. It's like a tower. It goes straight up and it's just a library. But the books are clearly fake books. Now, when you saw this... in 1996, you wouldn't have noticed that.
I also think if you saw this as a normal person in a normal setting with normal people, you also wouldn't have noticed this.
Right.
But we're not.
We're not. And plus, we're sitting up close and we're looking and...
Our purpose is to pick apart the movie piece by piece.
But it's cool set design.
It's really
And in any
cool.
case, his job is to bring this guy books when he needs them. This guy's old. He's not confined to bed, but he's kind of weak. And he's replacing the personal secretary of this Monsignor who has recently died. A man named...
Nario.
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 Nario?
Not Nario.
Nalio?
It's
Nario?
Nerio.
Nario. Who is a guy who died. We learn a lot of things about this guy who died. Nario, he was a bit of a fop, bit of a ladies' man. In his younger days, he...
Kind of. Okay. He had a job escorting women to like balls and stuff.
Right. He was a handsome man.
But from the way it was described, it didn't sound like he liked doing it.
It is his job. Yeah, it's work. And that's why they call it work. It's work. Yeah, well, how much fun is it to hanging out with ladies? Not very. He'd rather be at home with the sorcerer. In any case, he also may have murdered 2 women or something.
He did.
He also may have been practicing evil or something. We don't know. But his body is dead, presumably, and there's a corpse in the house, and that our young hero has to bury in the very beginning. Word on the street is he's not allowed to be buried in consecrated ground because of all the evil things he did apparently when he was alive. So they bury him in the front yard and put a little cross on him. That's the basic setup. Now his job is to just hang out with this guy who's called the Arcane Sorcerer because of the church. What's the church called him? L'Arcano Incantatore. This guy this Monsignor who dabbled in the dark arts and...
Defrocked priest. That's what they call him.
And apparently, for a while, he and this guy, the 2 main characters, they have a pretty good budship going on. They're pretty good buds.
They seem really awkward together.
They're awkward together, but like there seems the Arcane Sorcerer is not gross and weird.
No,
he's not malevolent.
Just a normal guy.
He's just a normal old man, and he's like, I don't practice magic. I practice poetry. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm just trying to contact the dead.
I practice magic. I practice poetry. Except for when I practice magic to contact the dead.
Listen. Isn't poetry in its own way more evil than magic? I mean, come on.
No.
I've known poets. Evil to a T. So,
most magic
are
Most
evil.
magic is written like poetry.
Right. Well, what he's saying is that his magic isn't like the dark arts. It's like this sort of poetical thing where he communes with nature. Also, the house is haunted by ghosts, and he's trying to contact the spirit of a dead guy.
He's trying to No, he's not. He's trying to contact... He said when he was a kid, there was a guy that he met who started teaching him sorcery stuff. And the guy's astral projecting himself to the place.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not trying to contact a dead guy, because that would be ridiculous.
He's communing with someone who lives somewhere else. And
because that would be too close to the truth.
There are things in this movie I didn't quite... Okay, so there's a twist in this movie that... The twist makes me not quite understand everything that's going on, but it's also a pretty cool twist, and it made us both go,
So, okay, before we get to that...
Right.
There's a whole middle part of the movie.
There's a middle part of the movie. There's the movie part of the movie.
I'm going to say right now, this movie was really straightforward the entire time until the very end.
I'm going to say right now that the very end, not the very end, the twist and then the end, the movie seemed very straightforward to me, but then with the knowledge of the twist, some of it's been opaqued for me. I'm like, okay, well then...
I still think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay. Well, there's also this group of nuns?
Yeah.
Is it nuns? I couldn't tell if they were nuns or just
they're
like...
lay sisters.
Lay sisters.
They haven't taken... I don't think they've taken their...
cool, which is why they are horny AF.
Kind of.
They say that they are, but you don't really get to see it.
The only person who says that is the Arcane Sorcerer.
That's true. But they don't have to worry about it because he
only says that about Nerio. He only says, oh, those sisters were always trying to sleep with Nerio, which, as we know because of the twist, is just him stroking his own ego.
There's also a sex worker who lives in a hut. She has syphilis, apparently. Everyone says she has syphilis. We don't know if she has syphilis. She seems to be doing okay.
No, she does not.
She's a little forward.
She also doesn't seem to be doing okay.
But it is her job. Like,
she seems like she's really unhappy.
She doesn't seem happy, but she just lives by a bunch of lay sisters. She has one client, and he just apparently died. Right. So, of course, she's going to be like, I'm going to throw myself on the ground. I'm going to open up my legs, and I'm going to invite this guy inside because I need it like lunch. I need to eat.
And he's like, well, what is he going to pay with? He's not getting paid with money.
Oh, she doesn't know that, though.
But she should if the
last guy who worked for this guy came to see her and paid.
She also said that she introduced the two girls to Dario.
Right.
So...
Is it Dario? I don't think it's Dario.
No,
Nario?
It's Dario.
You just said Dario.
No,
You're thinking of Dario Argento.
I did not.
Everyone's
say Dario.
favorite Italian. So, yes. So, our hero keeps seeing the ghosts of two young women.
Yes,
and
two lay sisters.
Because they're dressed like the lay sisters. Mm-hmm. And he's heard that there are two lay sisters who disappeared. And he's like, oh, I think I keep seeing their ghosts.
And everyone's like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, with everything else you've told me, how is that the ridiculous thing?
They're like, that couldn't be happening. He's like, no, they could possibly. They're like, they just ran away. He's like, no, I think they died, and I think that they're the ghosts that are haunting the area where I live.
Even then, because the woman said, like the lay sister that he kept talking to, not the one on the boat, but the other one, even said, yeah, Nerio confessed that he murdered them with a pickaxe to me. And he's like,
he made a joke. He joked that he murdered them with a pickaxe.
To scare me.
To scare me.
I don't think he was joking.
Yeah, I think that may have been true. Also, there's a ghost, like, there's this whole ritual that he and the Arcane Sorcerer end up performing. The Arcane Sorcerer lays in a bed of snow or ice.
And it's like dirt and snow because the cold makes you weaker.
Mm-hmm.
The dirt because why not?
He bleeds into a bowl.
And then a big old bat shows up.
A big bat puppet shows up and drinks from the blood bowl.
And it's his soul.
Do we know that yet?
No, but we were told that the evil man or the evil one,
mm-hmm.
Like his vessel or whatever has a bat instead of a soul.
Yes. So.
Soul.
Saul. Edgar Allan Poe.
Pole.
You're supposed to say, that was the joke from 17 years ago when we did the Edgar Allan Poe episode. So, he does all this, and they spread flour all over the floor to summon a spirit.
And to see it, they don't spread the flour on the floor to summon the spirit. Well, they spread the flour on the floor to find the spirit.
To find the spirit, which floats, so it doesn't walk through the flour.
No, it just looks like a bunch of Christmas lights.
Yeah, it's a bad special effect. It's not the best special effect.
You know what? It's 1965.
It's not 1965.
It's not. It's 1996.
It's post-Jurassic Park.
1996.
We have been to the theater and seen living dinosaurs on
I was
screen.
trying not to say 5, so I said 6 too early, and then I said 5 anyway.
If it was 1965, fine. But no, it's a pretty wonky special effect. But he's kind of freaked out by it. He goes and he wakes the guy up.
I'd be freaked out if I saw it in real life.
This is where I'm like, who was that? Who was that spirit?
I think that was the Arcane Sorcerer.
You think that was the Arcane Sorcerer?
Well, who else would it be?
Well, I don't know.
Well, because, okay.
So what happens? We need to get this out.
Okay, so sees the ghost, goes to wake up the man, wakes up the man's not doing well. I can't remember exactly how this part plays out, but he goes somewhere.
Well, a priest shows up at the house.
Right.
A confessor priest for the late
Is that
sisters.
night?
Well, Yeah, it's close enough. Just to know that there's a priest who's come to town to be the confessor for the lay sisters, but he's secretly investigating the Arcane Sorcerer. The Arcane Sorcerer has been sending messages to someone, coded messages that he uses. They each have a little book that he uses a cipher. No one's allowed to see this book, so you don't know what it is. He's already talked about a book previously that this guy, that his old assistant brought to him, that he threw in the fire and burned because it was a book on how to summon demons.
Okay, so
Any case.
The confessor shows up. Our boy is coming back from somewhere, sees him, recognizes him, reports this to the Arcane Sorcerer, and then that night the priest is at the door, and he's like, hey, I don't want you getting caught up in all of this, and honestly, if you help us out with this, you are forgiven. You're going to be fine. We just need to be able to read those letters that he's been sending, because since the old assistant died, we haven't been able to, because apparently Nerio was decoding the letters for them. Right.
And we know that he's sending these letters to like a senator, someone in high authority.
There's a woman as well. I can't remember her name.
Yeah. She works with the lay sisters. She's a lay sister.
She really believes that the Arcane Sorcerer is just a good guy, that he was put in these, the church was jealous of him, made him out to be some horrible person, sent him to be live in solitude, and she's like, she's the one who delivers the letters. But,
right. And we are inclined to believe this because it's during the Inquisition. The confessor priest who shows up was an Inquisition confessor priest.
Yep.
And we're inclined to the Arcane Sorcerer seems like a nice enough guy. He makes a lot of sense, and it's the church, and they are positioned as the enemy of the protagonist.
But when Mr. Priestman shows up, he's really chill.
Yeah, he's
just like, we really just need to know what these letters are because blah blah blah. We're worried, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That could be some master manipulation there.
But he seems sincere.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was in I never knew the main character's name. If I was in Mr. Main Character's shoes and I was like, I could be accepted back into society and not have to worry about not wanting to sleep with people ever again.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Honestly, though, at that point, the Arcane Sorcerer was just a nice guy.
Right.
And what would happen to him would probably be worse. I don't know if I can live with that on my conscience either. So
at some point, he talks to the older priest who is with the nuns. And he's like, yada, yada, yada. You wouldn't let them bury the old assistant in the hallowed ground. So that's why we had to bury him in the yard. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? I never said that.
Yeah, it was specific. We got a letter after he died that said he was going to be buried on the ground of the whatever.
Bearing in mind, again, no one has ever seen the Arcane Sorcerer. No one's ever seen this Monsignor. You're not allowed to, apparently, because you'll be excommunicated.
But somebody has seen him because they knew it wasn't him when they unveiled. They knew.
Right. Well, so what happens is...
They've seen Nerio. That's what it is.
Yes, people have seen Nerio. Mm-hmm. He's around. So he goes back to the place. Stuff happens. He digs up the body, drags it to the priest. They lay it out. Oh, and then he leaves. Mm-hmm. They lay it out because they're going to perform an exorcism on it to get rid of the demon inside it. Mm-hmm. And they pull back the cloth on the dead body. And lo and behold, it's not the guy.
It's Mr. Man with no hand.
Oh, yeah. So, and also, the Monsignor is missing a hand. That's kind of important. And so the whole movie, he has this sort of fake hand glove on. And when they reveal the dead body that was buried in the front yard, it's a guy with no hand. We've also seen his ghost before.
Yeah.
He has freaky eyes. He's a freaky looking guy. And he's missing a hand. And they're like, this isn't Nerio or Mario or whatever his name is.
His name's Nerio.
This isn't him. And again, no one's ever seen the Arcane Sorcerer, so they don't say that. They just this isn't the guy. We know what that guy looks like. He's down here all the time. This is some freaky weird guy with bulging eyes and no hand. What's the twist?
Nerio is actually the guy, which makes sense, looking back on it, and I think makes things even more straightforward.
So who was Nerio? So this whole time, the Arcane Sorcerer was actually his assistant, who killed him, I guess?
Yeah, well, because, okay, I'm going to do my own breakdown now.
Do your own breakdown.
So, at the beginning of the movie, we have... Well, not the very beginning, because that's not important. The very beginning is functionally inconsequential to the movie. It's one of my only problems with it. We get the guy, and we get the, groundskeeper or whatever. They are loading they're talking, they're chatting about what's going on. We get sort of a vibe from this guy about Nerio, but not a lot about the Arcane Sorcerer, just about Nerio. They grab the body. Okay,
my camera does that every once in a while.
They grab the body. They're going to bury him. The main character is warned not to touch the body because it could infect him with ghost or whatever.
With ghosts.
And so they bury him, put on a cross. Mr. Groundskeeper leaves. Mr. Main character goes into the house, goes upstairs and sees a bunch of stuff that belonged to Nerio, and finds a few pieces of paper hidden in a candle box. He gets the paper, and it details this ritual that involves bringing someone back from the dead.
Right.
Which is from, as we learn later on, the book of whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's foreshadowing there, because we see the Arcane Sorcerer later on in the movie. We see him doing the ritual over the grounds.
Right, right.
Which, if he had been telling the truth about having burned the book, he wouldn't have known what the ritual was.
Right.
And since that we at that point didn't know that he had a copy of the book, that means that the only person who could have known that would have had to have been Nerio, because he's the only one who had access to it.
Right, right.
So we know that the dead body is the Arcane Sorcerer, and that Nerio is trying to bring the Arcane Sorcerer back from the dead. Whether it's because the guy accidentally died, or just died of old age, or whatever, we don't know why he died. Whether Nerio killed him or not. We didn't see any wounds or anything on the guy's body that would indicate that.
That's true.
And it did seem like, given how Nerio spoke about the Arcane Sorcerer when he was pretending to be him, it did seem like he liked the guy. He got him a copy of the demon book.
Right.
We get some stuff about him sending off letters. He's still, I think, sending them to that senator.
Yeah.
Because the priest guy, still says that that's where they're going.
Right.
So I think it might have just been Nerio messing with the people he knew were...
Or trying to keep up the facade.
They're trying to keep up the facade, yeah, because the senator guy wasn't going to have a copy of the book.
Because he only switched places with the sorcerer a few days ago.
Yeah.
This happens, because he gets called in to do that. The body is still there. It's not rotted.
Yeah.
It's wrapped up. But that's to keep people from seeing that it's not actually the assistant.
And so I think the movie's pretty straightforward. I think this guy is just in a pact with the devil and is trying to bring back a guy from the dead.
So who was the floating spirit?
I think that was the Arcane Sorcerer.
Okay.
I think it was meant to be sort of every time that Nerio did this, the spirit got more powerful.
Okay.
Which is why at the end there we see a full body apparition of just the guy.
That makes sense. Because the Arcane Sorcerer is getting weaker and weaker throughout the course of the film.
I wouldn't say Arcane Sorcerer in quotation marks, because he is the Arcane Sorcerer.
No, but he's not, because the Arcane Sorcerer is dead.
That guy is called the Arcane Sorcerer, but this guy actually is the Arcane Sorcerer.
Well, and regardless, you also find out that Nerio is the old woman from the beginning.
Yeah.
Who's behind the fresco.
Okay, so we see, before that, we learned that Nerio was suspected of killing 2 women. He visited the prostitute a lot, and she said, when we hear from her, I introduced him to these 2 girls. He spun some tales about his glory days of taking women to balls and stuff, and did whatever. And at the end, the main character goes upstairs to let the Arcane Sorcerer know that, hey, I've dealt with the problem, everything's fine now. And he finds the door that's been locked from the inside in the attic, busted open. And there's 2 corpses in the bed, it's 2 women, which is interesting because it's locked from the inside.
Right.
Which means that they might have locked themselves in there.
Yeah.
And their ghosts, we hear them at one point, they talk about, dying of love.
Yeah.
Which is effed up. I really, like, it's effed up. And Nerio is in the corner. He acts all remorseful about everything. He's like, oh, it turns out Nerio did commit these crimes. I've been living with 2 corpses this whole time. And then our main character, for some stupid reason, goes, you can't fool me. I don't know. Why do characters in movies do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone.
Why would you do that to the arcane, like the man who is clearly...
Well, and he knows that it's not the Arcane Sorcerer because how does he figure it out?
He found the book in the bed. He found the Book of Demons.
That's right. And he gets chased through the house.
He doesn't get chased through the house. He gets chased through one room.
Well, the house is essentially one room.
It's the attic. He gets chased with a guy who's wielding a pickaxe from the attic.
He gets who's Johnny'd. Here's Johnny'd.
He also
through the door.
lays down on the body of the dead priest who's also in the house because the guy has killed the priest.
The guy's killed the priest, and then he shuts himself in a room, and Nerio just Jack torrances down the door and even looks through the little crack in the hole, busts the door open, but unlike in The Shining, he then dies.
Yep.
he's overexerted himself. He just dies.
I think he had syphilis.
He dies, and that's when he pulls the guy's glove off.
And it's the hand of the woman from the beginning.
It's the hand of the woman from the beginning.
Which brings into the question of what is happening.
Oh, that's what it was. He saw the guy have a gloved hand that moved earlier.
Yeah.
And that's when he was like, wait a minute, you're definitely not the Arcane Sorcerer because you're not actually missing a hand.
So everything was really, really straightforward for me up until that point.
Okay.
Because now I don't understand what they're implying with that.
That this guy went to this place or also worked at this place.
But he can't have because he went... What confused me was that the woman who our main character went to go see at the very end says, oh, there's no room with all the frescoes. There's no frescoed room.
Oh, I see.
Which means that either this guy just hallucinated the whole thing at the very beginning or nothing.
Or nothing. Yeah, there's a lot, actually, there's a lot of unanswered questions in this story. I mean, just the 2 corpses in the attic, as you brought up, there's a lot of just, it's weird. And it ends with, our guy going to this place to try to get, he's like, look, I did what you asked me to do. Our deal is over. And then Nerio shows up
in the graveyard,
his ghost, and is like, you're still bound to me forever.
Which, okay, I don't think the women in the attic are that much of a mystery. I think there's a lot of implications dropped throughout the whole movie of what was going on, just with the way they were introduced to him by the prostitute, the way that he spoke about them when he was talking as the Arcane Sorcerer, the way that the lay sisters were spoken about, and what they were saying when they died, or when they were, dying, and the fact that they locked themselves together in a bedroom and probably starved to death as well. I think that...
What do you think is obvious about all that?
I think it's obvious that he kidnapped these women and held them prisoner in the house.
Why'd they lock themselves in the attic?
Probably because they were scared of him.
All right, we'll go with that. I find the movie to be it doesn't oversell its points. It's just you're sort of with this guy experiencing what he's experiencing as he's experiencing it. It only changes perspective that one time when you're in the attic with the dead body. But very effective film.
I thought it was really effective. I didn't like the end.
You didn't like the end, but I thought the movie itself was pretty... I can see... Well, I can see why Guillermo del Toro likes it.
Yes, definitely.
But you know what?
What?
We don't even have to wonder why Guillermo del Toro
No, we have a
likes
really
it.
long article about why he likes
Guillermo del Toro contributed to a book in 2013 called The Best Film You've Never Seen, published by Chicago Review Press, 2013. And an excerpt from that book is on RogerEbert.com. And it's an interview with Guillermo del Toro about the Arcane Sorcerer. And this movie, changed Guillermo del Toro's life. It like us, he had trouble getting his hands on it.
Yep.
He had to watch a very degraded copy of it. But he talks about how it became he says, it became incredibly important for me in doing Devil's Backbone. This idea that you can be pastoral in the landscape and imbue the movie with great horror nevertheless. I love how Avati fuses the sounds of nature with the soundtrack, the cicadas and the crickets and the birds, until they become a source of mystery like they would have been at the time. The sounds of nature become the force of elemental creatures. He also talks about how he personally collects old grimoires and witchcraft books and occult literature. And he has a nice library, and it's incredible how close this movie comes to feeling like a true undocumented account of how this story would have happened in the time. Incredibly deep knowledge of the occult. Avati has an uncanny ear for the tone of this type of story, and it's amazing. Del Toro loves this movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
And watching this, and we read through this interview. We didn't get any spoilers, but before we watched the movie, we were reading through the interview. And watching the movie with the knowledge of the influence it had on Devil's Backbone, I'm like, yeah, there are moments in this movie that feel like Devil's Backbone, that have that like, just sort of like it's a small town. It's sad. There's like a sort of inherent melancholy about the whole thing. There's mysterious stuff going on, but there's also just life going on. The presence of ghosts, like the way the ghosts just sort of show up and are there and then they're gone, is very much like in Devil's Backbone.
I think the most effective part of this movie, horror-wise, for me, was the two ghosts of the two women.
Yeah, again, it's not a scary movie.
No.
It's definitely horror.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's very folk horror, magic horror, Catholic horror.
Gothic.
Yeah, it's gothic. And it's, well, as he says, it's hard to come by. But Del Toro, you can find this interview. It's on RogerEbert.com. He talks a lot about the way it's very religious and magical at the same time. Like how Catholicism is kind of like, yeah, this is the one you want to be a part of. Del Toro's grandmother performed an exorcism on him once. Famously, yes.
She did twice.
Because of all the evil books and movies that he entertained himself with. So he's familiar with this world. And I grew up somewhat familiar with the world of arcane magic because my grandmother was a deep believer in Santeria. She didn't not a practicer of Santeria. Forget it. But she was a deep believer in the power of it, the dark magic of, which is, I believe Santeria is a corruption of the Catholic faith, where they took the saints and combined them with the demons and created this whole new Christian Catholic witchcraft faith that people do practice in Mexico and in Texas. And you would bring up certain things, and she and my aunt would be like, "Oh yeah, that's Santeria. That person is possessed. That they're practice. That's Santeria," and it's that thing. It's that, yeah. There's that. We say it when we were watching the movie. Like Catholicism, especially, is very much a magical belief. Like it's got its arcana and its spells and its rituals.
I find it fascinating, mostly because every time I see a horror movie about Catholicism, it's really heavily criticizing Catholic shame. Even when it's a pro-Catholic movie.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because when I hear people talk about, like, they get that sort of feeling, that, like, guilt is, like, what that is all about.
Right.
So it's just weird that so much of Catholic horror talks about how easy it is to prey on the shame.
Right. Well, yeah, because that's a lot of what the Catholic Church does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was raised by two atheists.
Right.
One of whom went to Catholic school.
Right.
Didn't like it for obvious reasons. So I didn't grow up with a lot of this kind of stuff.
No.
Pretty much didn't have any exposure to any kind of religion when I was a kid. Even just with, like, friends and stuff. I mean, I had neighbors who were Christian, but the only thing I remember about that was being told I was going to go to hell after they came back from church camp. And not being allowed to say "God damn it" in front of them. That's it.
Which, you know, with kids, is probably a smart thing to not have kids say in front of their friends.
Oh my God is what it was.
That's what. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, that makes sense to me. Del Toro's in the interview, he says he doesn't believe there's such thing as forbidden knowledge as long as it comes with a spiritual component. What I don't like is knowledge that is purely intellectual, because that distances us from nature. I love the idea that knowledge can make us closer to the world as opposed to making us feel superior to the world. And I think that's where Del Toro comes out, where this movie comes out. Like, the magic would be fine if the guy wasn't trying to become like a master necromancer, wizard, whatever he was trying to do. Also, wasn't a child murderer or woman murderer.
Yeah.
That's also a problem.
It feels, okay, the magic in this movie felt secondary to everything else that was happening.
Yeah.
Because, sure, magic, whatever. The real issue was the fact that this guy was deranged and creepy and murdered 2 women.
And murdered 2 women.
So, at least 2 women.
At least 2 women, which, yes, and that is very similar to the previous Avati films I saw, where there's a lot of weird, creepy stuff going on in the town. There's some mysterious characters. There's a lot of colorful citizens and denizens of the area. But when it comes down to it is who is killing these people is I believe in both movies. It's like who is mostly yeah, this movie could have had nothing to do with magic and there still would have been a mystery as to who murdered these 2 lay sisters and hid their bodies in the attic. And I think at the end of the day, that's the evil.
Yeah.
Like there's the evil. It was a serial killer.
Yep.
Yes, there's magic, but there's also this guy who was a serial killer, and then he took over the position. He found the perfect hiding spot, which is be the guy who no one's allowed to see. And he could have lived out his life that way, but he got too smart for his own good. He wasn't a good guy. Edgar Wright, the director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim, described this movie as the Barry Lyndon of horror movies.
I don't know what that means because I don't remember.
I absolutely remember what that means. Barry Lyndon, lit almost entirely by candlelight. Barry Lyndon.
Okay, don't tell me how the movie looked. Tell me what it was about.
Well, no, that was one of Barry Lyndon. It was the really long one. It had.
Was it about the guy who started out in the village?
Started out in the village.
He was a sad sack, and then he became back, and he was still a sad sack.
And he ended up making a lot of money, and he married a woman with a lot of money, and their little boy died, and they had to be pulled by the sheep.
Yeah.
Or the dogs.
Okay.
Yes. The Barry Lyndon of horror movies in that it's, I believe, just the set design, the lighting, the sort of like paced, slow nature of it.
It got a little bit dark. Not thematically, but lighting-wise, it got a little bit dark sometimes. I couldn't really tell what was
It was a little dark. That could have just been the transfer.
That could have just... Again, not a criticism of the movie. A criticism of... Actually, it was also kind of the light back there, but...
He talks about the difference between watching The Exorcist and being the subject of an exorcism. He says his grandmother was no pro, but she was an enthusiastic amateur. It didn't take. That's about mentorship. I'd go read this interview. It's very long and very good.
Wait, go back up. You've often mentioned... Did we see Flesh and Blood?
We did not see Paul Verhoeven's Flesh and Blood. He says there's a link between this movie and that movie. Middle Ages, the transition from the Age of Darkness to the Age of Reason. And they ask him, why do we as viewers find, the hidden and the obscure so compelling? And Guillermo del Toro was like, the same reason we like hide and seek and we love chases. One is a thrill of not knowing and one is a thrill of knowing and experiencing. They're both fundamental columns of human narrative, to tease with a mystery or to pursue with action.
I feel like for me, it's not knowing something really annoys me rather than thrills me. And I'm like, I need to know what's going on or I'm going to be really annoyed.
And this is the quote that we love. He says, the deepest horror is the one that deals with the worst kind of things. When you're dealing with somebody that may die or be maimed, you can always have the possibility of survival. There's always that part of you that says, well, if I lose an arm, I can always have the other one. Ha ha ha. Well, if the monster tears up my leg, I can always have a prosthetic one made or something. But when you're dealing with the soul, there is no solution to that. There are no prosthetics for the soul. A bat.
A bat is the prosthetic for the soul.
A bat is your soul prosthetic. It's a terrible puppet bat, but as we said,
not terrible.
Not the worst puppet bat we've seen.
That was in Black Sunday.
Black Sunday.
Yep.
The worst bat ever put on film, but also
the best.
The best bat ever put on film. This bat
was pretty
good. It was a little puppet, and it did drink the blood.
It had pretty good wings. The other bat kind of just looked like they threw a Halloween decoration at the camera.
They threw a Halloween decoration at the camera. I honestly think it scared the camera person. It was, so, Arcane Sorcerer. Thumbs up.
I really liked it.
I really liked it.
I criticized the ending a little bit. I would recommend watching this without talking.
Yes.
But we're content creators.
And I think this is a movie that can use a second watch. Once you know the twist,
it's good
going
to go
back and watching it. I'm like, I think when I put this thing together, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna figure some stuff out.
There were a couple of things that still bother me. One, why did they focus so much on that one woman at the lay sister place when she had nothing to do with anything?
There was a lot of that, yes.
I didn't like that at all. It was really annoying. I was like, I don't care about this woman. 2, why did he not, like, was he unable to see what the book was? He was not sitting that far away, and why did he keep dropping the book?
It was very small print, and I think that dropping the book made sense now. I think it made sense because he was trying to pretend he only had one hand.
That makes sense.
I think that's what that
because
was.
Because it was somebody who hasn't had a hand since childhood is not going to be that incompetent.
And he kept dropping the book, and I'm like, oh, it's because he was trying not to use this hand, and he's not used to doing that. 3, the third thing you didn't like, no sex.
I was really glad.
You were like, where are the butts and the boobs?
I was
the
so
whole
worried.
time.
I couldn't tell if he actually slept with the prostitute or
the whole time you were like, when are we going to see some bodies start slapping from doing the wild thing?
No, I like to think he didn't sleep with the prostitute.
Oh, I don't think he did. They kept telling him she had syphilis.
That's true.
Like, I don't care how hard.
Then?
What?
Did they care back then?
Yes, everyone. Syphilis was like the worst thing you could get. The sun. The sun.
That makes no sense to anybody else.
It's the end of Henrik Ibsen's Ghost. The guy dies of syphilis, and he dies saying the sun.
She supposedly had syphilis.
But he still wouldn't do it. He wouldn't. Why take the risk?
Yeah. Also, because his whole thing was he slept with a woman and then forced her to get an abortion.
And things went bad.
Also, that is really just a rough way to start off making your main character.
But I think that was smart.
Yeah.
I think it's like, okay, we're not dealing with some innocent guy here. Mm-hmm. We're not dealing with like the greatest guy in the world. He's not, like running off with the woman either. Like, I'm sure she's not having a good time.
No.
Knowing that she got pregnant and then had an abortion in like
1800s.
Right. I'm sure she is not having the best time in the world.
1700s.
And he just runs off.
The Inquisition was not in the 1700s.
Right. No, it's during the Inquisition. But yes. So thumbs up to the Arcane Sorcerer. Get your hands on it. Write to Italy and have them send you a disc. I think you can find it other place. I think that I think you can find it some shady places. I bought the DVD. It did not cost much money.
Get the DVD.
It was not very much lira. Yeah, put some lira into Pupi Avati's hands. Huh? The guy's not asking for much.
And you know what? It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Buy a copy of it. You'll have to download your own subtitles.
Unless you speak
Italian. Unless you speak Italian. Willow, what is the next movie on the Ecstasy of Influence? I'll give you a hint. I was watching it when I found out about 9/11. I was watching it.
I have no idea.
When I sent hint number 2, you were 6 days old when I was watching it.
That doesn't help at all.
Next time on the Ecstasy of Influence, almost at the Arcane Sorcerer.
Next time on the Arcane Sorcerer.
Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue. It's right there, in case you're interested.
It's going to be really depressing.
It's a bizarre psycho thriller crime weirdness movie.
I can do that.
Perfect Blue, an anime from the land of Japan. I was watching it. In the middle of it, my sister called and was like, I want to know how you guys are doing. And your mom was like, oh, you know how it is. We have a new kid in the house, a new baby. It's just, who can sleep? And my sister was like, no, I mean about America being under attack. And I was like, let me pause this anime I have on. What are you talking about? And that's how I found out about 9/11. So Satoshi Kon, Perfect Blue, 9/11, just intricately intertwined in my head. And I've never finished the movie.
Well, now we can.
I could never bring myself to watch it again.
There's not another terror attack on United States soil while we're watching this movie next
We'll try to watch it before the election.
We're going to be watching it after the election, aren't we?
Hopefully there's not a terrorist attack going on America's soil while we're watching Perfect Blue. In the meantime, I'm Phil.
And I'm Willow.
And we'll see you when it's Del Toro time.